What does it mean to be soft in the mind? Marcus Aurelius says it's the little things that make us soft. The little things that cause us to waver and break from our duty, to be overcome with emotion instead of overcoming them. He says we're all like children throwing a tantrum when things don't go our way, like the spoiled brats that we are, when life doesn't give us what we want, where we lose our shit and start begging and pleading for mercy. In a world full of weakness, there is strength in being soft, in being tender-hearted, and compassionate towards others. But the Stoics say there is power in recognizing when we have to harden our hearts and our minds. They say the key to a strong life is not to think soft thoughts. That idea is the focus of today's episode and something I've been thinking about a lot recently. The truth is, there's a lot of bad advice out there on how to be more resilient. Everyone tells you to be more positive or to think happy thoughts, as if resilience is some sort of magical thinking, some sort of Jedi mind trick that will bend life to your will, but it's not. Being resilient means being able to confront the harsh realities of life and not flinching. It means taking a firm stand on what you believe in, even when everyone around you is cowering and trembling. It means facing your fear head-on and doing what needs to be done, and all of that starts with your thoughts. Because what you choose to think about determines what you're going to do. If you want a strong life, you have to stop thinking soft thoughts. You have to train yourself to think hard thoughts. That's what this video is about today. How to reprogram your mind to think harder so that you can live stronger. There's an old saying that the mind is everything. What you think you become. Your thoughts determine your actions, your habits, your character, your destiny. The Stoics believed that the key to living a good life was to cultivate the right thoughts. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, said that it's not what happens to us that makes us suffer, but our thoughts about what happens. In other words, it's our interpretation of events, our beliefs about the events that cause us to suffer, not the events themselves. This is why the Stoics talk about the dichotomy of control. They say that there are some things that are in our control, and there are some things that are not in our control. And it's only when we confuse the two that we have problems. When we think soft thoughts, when we think thoughts of fear and anxiety and worry, it's because we're confusing things that are in our control with things that are not in our control. So the first step to thinking harder is to learn how to distinguish between what is in our control and what is not in our control. We can't control the actions of other people, the outcome of events, or the future. All we can control is our own thoughts and actions. When we realize this, when we focus on the things that we can control, we stop wasting energy on the things that we can't control. And that gives us the clarity and the strength to think harder. The second thing we need to do is to challenge our soft thoughts, our fearful thoughts, our irrational thoughts. We need to ask ourselves, are these thoughts really true? Are they based on facts or are they based on emotions? Oftentimes our fear comes from our imagination, from the stories we tell ourselves about the future. So we need to learn how to recognize our negative thought patterns and challenge them. We need to be willing to question our beliefs and to look at things from different perspectives. When we do this, we start to see that many of our fears are unfounded, that many of our worries are unnecessary. And when we realize this, we can start to think harder, more rational thoughts. Finally, we need to focus on our purpose, on the things that are most important to us. When we have a clear sense of our purpose, when we know what we want to achieve, it gives us the strength and the courage to face whatever obstacles come our way. The Stoics believed that the key to a meaningful life was to live in accordance with nature, to fulfill the purpose that we were put on earth for. When we do this, when we live according to our true nature, we're no longer afraid of what other people think of us. We're no longer afraid of failure or rejection. We're not afraid of death because we know that we've lived a good life. We've done our best to make a difference in the world. So if you want to live a strong life, if you want to be resilient, then you have to stop thinking soft thoughts. You have to reprogram your mind to think harder thoughts. It won't be easy, but it will be worth it. The Stoics believed that we're all capable of greatness. They believe that we can endure anything if we just have the right mindset. So don't be afraid to think hard thoughts. Don't be afraid to be strong. Embrace it. The world needs strong people like you. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please hit the like button. It helps the channel and I appreciate your support. Thank you for watching.